Do you struggle with art block? From time to time, all the time, maybe even right now? I clearly struggled with art block in the past, but as of lately, I'm feeling pretty creative. Here's how being honest with myself helped me. Back in 2020, when the Big C turned our lives upside down, I was spending a lot of time at home, either studying for university or making art. And one day, a friend of mine suggested that I could start a YouTube channel where I show my drawings and paintings. And that's what I did. At that time, I already had my art account on Instagram, and after a while, I also started selling my art. At first, I was full of creativity and had more ideas than I had time to actually bring to life. But after a while of sharing my art online, the creativity kinda faded. But why? I could identify some pretty obvious factors like life going back to normal, so I didn't spend as much time at home anymore. Me personally being in a pretty exhausting transitional phase of my life, writing my master thesis and deciding what I want to do with my life, or at least finding my first full-time job and settling into a 40-hour work week. And last but not least, dealing with the constant pressure of the algorithm that wants you to post basically every day. However, this was only part of the problem. There were some more hidden reasons that held me back. This was almost 2 years ago, and I've only recently got out of this art block. In this video, I'm going to let you know how I identified what held me back and how I helped myself to get out of this creative block. Obviously, this is what helped me personally, and everyone's different, but maybe I can give you an idea how to approach your own art block. Step 1. Being honest. There's a difference between reasons and excuses. Not having time and being stressed are definitely reasons why it might be harder to pick up a pencil, but in essence, these were just excuses why I didn't feel creative anymore. I needed to be honest with myself. Even if you have a lot of responsibilities and stress, you will still be able to make time for 5 to 10 minutes per day that you could use for doodling. But I didn't do it, so why? It took me some time, books and podcasts on personality and psychology to figure this out, but essentially I was self-sabotaging myself most of the time. Art was not mentioned a single time there, and I didn't look for a cure for art block, but when I let the information sink in, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so me. I found the key to my art block. So I'll try to break it down for you. I always struggled with rather low self-esteem and fear of failure, whether it's talking in public or writing an exam. I hate it. Today's environment, especially life online, fuels these feelings. There's constant pressure of the algorithm wanting you to post often and get good engagement. And then there are other artists actually posting every day and getting good engagement, and you keep comparing yourself and your art with them, getting more miserable and uninspired every day. But your brain is smart. It doesn't want you to be miserable or feel inferior, so what it might do is that it keeps you from trying. Because if you don't try, you can't lose. The only problem is that if you don't try, you can't win either. So this is self-sabotaging at its best. And if you don't try to break out of the cycle, you're stuck. You're not trying anymore, you're not making art anymore, you're stuck in an art block. And I guess that's what happened to me. You might think that is a no-brainer and that you've heard that before, but there's definitely a difference between hearing something and actually processing what it means. Step 2. Logic. My next step was finding ways how I could kinda rewire my brain. Therefore, I tried to find logical reasons why my self-sabotaging was big BS. First and foremost, it's BS because making a bad painting is no big deal. The world does not suddenly start burning because you made a bad painting. Well, the world is burning, but certainly not because your line work was sloppy and you only got 2 likes. That's not gonna happen. Think it through to the very end. What's the worst thing that could happen? Concerning social media, for example, I could come up with a crappy idea, make a crappy painting, and either decide that I have nothing to post that day, which will decrease my reach, or post it anyway. If I post it anyway, it might not get as much engagement, which in turn might also decrease my reach. So to boost my reach again, I would have to post again. That post might fail as well, so I would have to try again. And maybe again and again. Taking into account that if you post a lot, the chances to get a well-performing post are actually higher than if you post only like once a month, this might even benefit you in the end, if you keep trying. And the same applies to art in general, leaving out all the social media stuff. just paint another one. So the worst thing that could happen is that you need to try again. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? Furthermore, a well-known rule of thumb is that you need to do something for about 10,000 hours to really become good at it. Or art-related, someone once said, there are 10,000 bad paintings within us, the sooner we get them out, the better. And being honest with myself, did I spend 10,000 hours on art so far? Did I make 10,000 paintings so far? No, absolutely not. So why would I expect perfection then? It doesn't even make sense. Also, who says that paintings or drawings need to be good? Think of art therapy, for example. It's art, but the purpose is not to make it look nice. The purpose is to express yourself. So think of different purposes that your art might have. Stress relief, keeping you busy when you have nothing else to do, or even making you laugh because you drew a silly face. Create your own purpose. And what does good even mean? How often did you look at someone's art and thought, that's not really my cup of tea? However, there still might be people who like it though. Art is subjective. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and I think there is not a single drawing that I made that my grandma hated. She loved them all. And if, after all, you are still unsure whether you can even call yourself an artist, well, then I would recommend to take a look at the Cambridge Dictionary, which defines the term as follows. Artist, someone who paints, draws, or makes sculptures. So the mere act of making something artsy makes you an artist. Step 3. Implementation. And how does this knowledge help me in daily life, you might ask? How does it help me when I'm sitting in front of an empty page? First of all, take your time to find out what your real reasons for your art block are. Then, whenever you encounter a situation that feels like art block is creeping up on you, ask yourself, am I self-sabotaging myself right now? If the answer is yes, you know that there's no reason to worry, no reason to not make art. And then start making something. Anything. You can, for example, use creative techniques to get the ball rolling, follow along an art tutorial, or whatever you feel might help you to just start. If you need some ideas here, check out my Instagram because I share further tips and ideas on how to overcome art block over there. If you have more tips that might help other artists, please leave them in the comments down below so we can all help each other out. Also, I would love to hear about your own experiences with art block. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more art content if you haven't already. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!